Hello, welcome to Bring It On. Yes, the rains are here again, and it's a period prone to building collapse and structural failure in Nigeria. You know, some have put the blame of this problem on substandard building materials, faulty structural engineering designs, and of course, the use of incompetent building contractors. In Nigeria, we have a national building code that supposes that to be followed, you know, as a guide for builders. But the question is, how many developers and landlords know about this code? Last week on the program, we looked at the trend of building collapse in Nigeria and how it has become quite worrisome and a source of concern to stakeholders. And we will continue on the same topic today. And to help us discuss further on the menace of building collapse in Nigeria and also help us propose solution, we have eminent gentlemen in the studio. And they'll be talking to us about this trend, this issue. We're talking about a builder and, of course, a legal practitioner who is going to be telling us more on the legal aspect of this issue. And, you know, you can join us on social media, UCOS, and on Facebook. You can post your comments. Yes, that's on www.ucos.com/bringitonlp or on UCOS, www.ucos.bringitontv show. Yes, that's our social media networks that you can use to contribute to this program. And of course, the phone lines will be open. We're going to open the phone lines so that you can make your contributions directly to the program. And right now, we have a guest in the studio. He is a legal practitioner, a human rights activist. I'm talking about no other one than Mr. Allen Abaka. Mr. Abaka, you're welcome to Bring It On.
It's my pleasure.
It's so good to have you on the program.
It's my pleasure.
Wow. We're talking about the menace of building collapse in Nigeria. It's a pathetic situation. How did we get at this situation? How did we get at the point we are right now? Some people have adduced different reasons, talking about substandard materials and all of that. What's your take? How did we get here?
Yes, you see, whatever happens in Nigeria is an offshoot of the general problem, which is corruption.
Okay.
Because when a state is not well planned and they do not obey laws, even though they have laws, or rather those laws are obeyed by way of breach rather than adherence. Because to say the least, we have enough law to govern this. Before you start a structure, you will go into what they call soil texture. You test the soil to know whether it will take the structure you want in, and then you contract the person who will draw out the architecture, who will now draw out the plan. That is the first thing, and that will be approved too. Remember, there is a regulatory body.
Yes.
Then after which you talk about the design and the contractor, who must be an engineer, a qualified civil engineer. You don't just pick people from the street and commission them to build an edifice. It will collapse. A building without no foundation will ultimately collapse.
That's true.
So before we talk about the law, we'll talk about the people we're dealing with.
Okay.
If people are very poor, they can do anything. They can bend the rules. And if they have corrupt mind, like I've said, they can always subvert the law to achieve their aim. For instance, there are plans, set out plans in a given area in Lagos. People do not adhere to it. And even the law enforcement agents or the agents who are the regulatory body, even when they come to supervise or to check what is happening, they give them a tip and they go back home. But they are sacrificing the life of the masses of the people on the altar of self-aggrandizement. That is the painful situation, the pathetic situation we have found ourselves. Life in Nigeria means nothing any longer. As we are talking, this is the on-season, not the off-season.
Yes.
We're in the rainy season, and very soon we'll begin to read news about a house collapse and this. But one rare thing about these incidents is that you hardly hear that a bungalow collapsed.
That's true.
So that talks about the basis of these houses. If you are to build an upstairs, there are certain fundamental issues that must be considered.
Okay.
First is the foundation, the soil, and then the quality of the material to be used, and a proper supervision. And then you must adhere to the original plan. But we've seen situations where after a bungalow has been designed and built, they will come overnight and alter it, and before you see it, the thing will sprout to 2-3 story buildings.
In that
and
case,
in such circumstance, the original plan is different in terms of content, materially, with the structure you are seeing. But because we know how to bend the rule, because we are the people who have been so, when I say, we have, the system have so relegated the people to the background that they have mortgaged their conscience. Life means nothing to them. We will still tip money and somebody will take without saying, no, this structure must be pulled down. And then because of the poverty, the level of poverty, even where the danger signal is there, you still see people trying to get such a house.
In that case, it's not the government entirely that needs to be blamed on for this situation. Is that what you are implying?
You see, we have what they call contributory negligence in law. That's where you can attribute the victim's negligence to that of the causal agent. For instance, where a notice of abatement has been given, that to the effect that those who are occupying a particular building should vacate it within a given time, because it's no longer habitable. And then some people continue to remain there because they have no alternative means of livelihood. They don't have alternative place to go to. So at that point, that's why I use the word that the masses of the people have been so relegated to the background that life means nothing to them. So at that point in time, they are begging for death. But be that as it may, the root cause, like I said, is poor enforcement of the laws. Because if from the onset, the laws are being enforced, there is no way you will alter a structure that the original design is a bungalow. If you open the Bible, the first thing say, in the beginning. So in the beginning, we must go back and know what happened. So the root cause of the problem is not the law. There is an enabling law, but enforceability of these laws.
Enforceability of these laws.
Yes, because these laws are obeyed in breach rather than adherence. Those who adhere to it are seen as fools. Those who adhere to them are those who are not ready to cut corners, and they are very few. But those who are ready to cut corners make more money.
That's the much we can take on the program Bring It On today. And like Mr. Abaka said, so many issues, but yet we have to move forward. So many things to talk about, but we cannot exhaust all of them in just one program. That's why we would look at these issues again, and we want you to make your contribution. Don't forget to visit our UCOS page and, of course, our Facebook page and leave your comment. So important. We'd like to hear from you. That's the much we can take on the program Bring It On today. Join us again next week for another edition. Thank you so much, Mr. Abaka, for joining us.
God bless you.
From all of us here, bye-bye now.